It's Elton Brown, former Arizona Cardinal, two-time All-American at the University of Virginia, and you're watching Legacy Maker Sports Network.
Legacy Maker, the All Sports Network.
Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to the one-on-one. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to one-on-one at Legacy Maker Sports Network.
Hello, everybody. Darrell Owens, Legacy Maker Sports Network, and you are back for another edition of One-on-One here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network, episode 39. We're sitting here in season 2, and we're about 7 episodes in. And with me today, I have one of the best in the industry, my man, Mr. Turron Davenport of NFL Nation on ESPN. He is the beat reporter for the Tennessee Titans. Turron, how you doing, brother?
Hey, Darrell, what's going on, man? I appreciate you having me. It's funny. You know, I want to say Turrell, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Terrell Owens, you know what I mean? But, hey, I appreciate you having me on.
Man, I used to get that a lot as a kid. Is that your cousin?
Yeah.
No, he's not my cousin. Now, I mean, it'd be cool, but no, he's not my cousin.
Right?
Well, we always get one-on-one, start off with the check-in. So, Turron, I just want to check on you and your family, man. You know, obviously it's been a wild year. You know, a lot been going on between elections and social distancing and you name it. Just tell me how you and your family have been working through this pandemic.
Yeah, everything is going well for the family. We have settled into Nashville, and it's been good. And we just kind of have drawn closer, right, in this time where there's not really much that you're able to do outside of the house. We found some things to do in the house. My daughters have really blossomed as far as their cooking ability and things like that, and they're experimenting with different things. And it's been great, man. Everything has been great, and I hope everything is going well with you and yours.
Yeah, well, we're definitely pushing through. It's been tough times. You know, we lost a couple people here and there, but for the most part, everybody's doing well. And congratulations to your daughter, I believe, from graduating from college. Am I wrong on that one?
Yes, my oldest, my Deja. Yeah, she's 22. Howard University graduate. She got her. She did it, man. Magna cum laude. You know, I can't. Magna cum laude. I mean, it's
a big
nuts,
deal.
You know, she did her thing.
She's a bison for life.
That's right.
Well, Turron, you probably have, been through a lot, obviously, in your life. But tell me about that time, that time when you knew as a young man, as young TD, I should say, that you knew that you were going to have such a passion for sports. What moment happened that you said, man, sports is going to be my life?
Yeah, a lot of people don't know, but baseball was actually my first passion. And I grew up a Mets fan. I used to live in New York, and, you know, my aunt, she got me hooked on the Mets. And ironically, she's a Yankee fan. But I remember she brought a newspaper home, and it was Newsday. They would always have a cartoon that they would draw on the cover, and it was an insert, and that would be for baseball season. So it was the preview. Mm-hmm. And I remember there was a picture of this guy had a big thing of bubble gum in his mouth, and he had just like they had him in his stance, and it was crazy. And he had this really interesting last name that I thought it was made up. His last name was Strawberry, you know, and Darrell Strawberry is the guy that really got me hooked on sports. And I remember just going to Mets games and just the excitement at Shea Stadium. I couldn't wait. I remember I used to sit on my aunt's stoop waiting for her to come home with my little transition radio and a copy of the National. If you remember that newspaper, it was a sports-only newspaper. And I'm just looking at that, and I'm just couldn't wait for her to come home to take me to the game. So that's really how it started. 1986 probably was the big year because that's when it just went just to a different level for me. I remember and it's funny, I joked with Howard Johnson about this on Twitter. I told him that your team in '86 got me one of the worst beatings I ever got because in the National League Championship game going against the Houston Astros, it was Game 6 to be exact, and that went extra innings. And I woke up and I snuck into the living room and I was watching the game, and I got a beating for that because I needed to be in bed for it. So I'm still a Mets fan, and they disappoint me every year, but it's a relationship that I continue to maintain, and that's really my only sports team. So that's really when it really kicked over. But then actually playing football, developing that love for that sport, that's really when it went to like this actually loving the sport, a sport itself, that you participated in.
It's crazy because, I look at it and I know the Mets have been through some tough times. Mets, Jets. But imagine being a Seattle Mariners fan. That's this guy right here. At least you can say you've been to the World Series. You got a ring or two. My guy's just trying to make the playoffs again for the first time since I was a junior in high school. And for those out there, I'm 36. It's been a long time. That's all I'm saying. Just get me back in the playoffs, and then we will work on World Series and all that stuff later. Just get me in the playoffs so I can, my friends won't laugh at me anymore, all that good stuff. That's all we're asking for.
You had Junior for a bit, man.
I know, man. That's why I'm a Mariners fan. I mean, when I was 10, Ken Griffey, that was it. Ken Griffey, Randy Johnson, my man Edgar Martinez, those guys, Jay Buhner. Jay
Buhner, yeah.
That was my squad. And, yes, we had a young Alex Rodriguez, but that was towards the end of that reign. But no, those guys for me were, they made me a Mariners fan. And maybe one day I can say, yes, that's just maybe one day.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Jared Kelenic, that's a guy that came over in that trade with Francisco Rodriguez and what's my man's name?
Cano.
Robinson
Cano.
Yeah. So hopefully he'll be manning center field for you soon.
We'll see. I mean, they I don't knock on wood. We'll see how they do. Do. Now, obviously, you've been in the world of journalism now for a while. You've covered a couple of NFL teams, I believe, Eagles and Ravens. Now, you're in Tennessee. But tell us, where did that bug say, all right, it's time for me. I want to be in sports journalism. Where did that bug come from?
Well, for me, it was really just trying to find a way I could still be involved with football when the opportunities to go pro just didn't happen. Now, I got some looks. I worked out for a couple Canadian League teams, a couple arena teams, Hamilton, Tiger Cats, Saskatchewan Rough Riders, New York Dragons, New Jersey Gladiators, and none of it worked out. And I loved football. I still love football. So it was a relationship that I wanted to continue. And I remember I was doing football camps with a friend of mine, and we did camps for all kinds of players, Deshaun Jackson, Marion Barber, Jason Avant, a whole bunch of guys. And I remember just sitting there talking shop with them, and we're going back and forth. And they're like, wow, that's a good point. And I'm like, hold up. And right around that time, Bleacher Report got purchased by Time Warner. I think it was for like $30 million, or Turner, whoever. I think it was Turner. Mm-hmm. It was for like $30 million. And I'm like, wait a minute. If these guys could do that, so can I. So I built my own website. It's called Press Coverage Sports. I taught myself how to build the site. I did it with Front Page, and I was covering the 49ers. I had a couple college teammates covering other teams for me, and we were just loading it up with content. Then I was able to parlay that into some other opportunities. Bay Sportsnet was eventually where I first got my credentialed opportunity, and I did an article on Colin Kaepernick, actually, before I got to Bay Sportsnet. It was after his Thursday start, his first start, Thursday Night Football against the Bears. And I guess it was a really good review. He liked it. Through doing the camps, I connected with his agent because I wanted to do a camp in San Francisco, which would be manned by him.
Right.
And his agent saw it, sent it to him. He put it on Facebook, and all of a sudden outlets in San Francisco and the Bay Area were reaching out. And that's how I was able to work through a couple of channels and be credentialed with Bay Sportsnet. And then from there, Baltimore Times, I wanted to, because I was in Pennsylvania, flying back and forth to San Francisco to do some of the things that I was doing as far as covering games and practices and training camp and that type of thing. And I said, this is too much. And also, I was a 49ers fan.
Right.
And I think it's always tough for a person who's a fan of a team to cover that team. Right. So I said, okay, well, I'm in Philly. I could do Eagles. I could do Ravens. And I looked at Philly and I said, well, that market is oversaturated. So I said, well, I reached out to every single outlet in Baltimore. One replied, and that was the Baltimore Times. And they gave me an opportunity, covered the Ravens for 2 years there. Then things opened up because throughout that time, I was also doing draft work with Emory Hunt, a football game plan. Then I did some draft work. USA Today digital media group, they started a series of websites called The Wire, right? Yeah, Jets Wire, Ravens Wire, et cetera, et cetera. I was doing draft stuff for Jets Wire, and then they decided to open up Eagles Wire. And that was my opportunity to come to Philly, right? And stay in Philly and be able to drive 25, 30 minutes to a facility instead of flying 3 hours or driving 2. So it was a great opportunity. I was able to blossom there, connected with Philly Sportsnet, which became NBC Sports Philly, did a lot of TV stuff there, did radio with Bleeding Green Nation on WIP, and it just continued to blossom. I did 2 books, one on Carson Wentz, that 2017 Super Bowl year, and that's when ESPN called. They sent me an email, and they're like, hey, would you be interested in one of our NFL Nation positions? And I don't curse, but, in my mind, I was like, hell yeah.
Hey, so put me in, man. Let's go.
Yeah, we did some phone interviews, and I flew up there, interviewed for 2 days, and here we are, man, and there's no turning back. And it's an opportunity that, I feel like I've maximized. I think, it's a blessing. And it's crazy because here I am, a guy who I have a marketing degree, right? So when I first got to ESPN and they're telling me about leads and write-throughs and these type of things, I'm like, oh, yeah, I could do it. And then as soon as I get away from them or as soon as I get off the phone, I'm Googling lead. I'm Googling walkthrough to figure out or write-through, rather, to figure out what it was. So I say all that to say, man, never think you're underqualified. And when you have that desire, that passion, that will to just simply make it happen and do whatever it takes, you could do it.
And hearing you talk about building your brand and getting your brand to where it is now, look at you, for all those people like myself who are trying to build their brand. And, I think this is year 5 for me and, seeing some strides, but seeing someone, take it from there to where you are now is proof in the pudding that if you put the work in, it can get done.
Yeah. Like Ray Lewis said, the only thing that follows hard work is results.
I couldn't have said it better myself, brother. Now, you spoke of the Titans, and obviously you've been covering the Titans for the last couple of years. You've had the honor of seeing our man Derrick Henry just roll through some folks here in the last couple of years. I've always been a huge fan of Derrick Henry and his game and just, old school football. Still kind of baffled that he fell in the second round. That never quite circled for me. But, I know Heisman Trophy winners haven't had the best of luck here and there, but you get the honor of doing that. You saw the resurgence. Give us your thoughts on the Tennessee Titans, obviously, coming up for the next following year. They just had the draft. Give us some of your insight on that.
Yeah, well, like you, I've long appreciated Derrick Henry's game, and I was puzzled that he went in the second round. And it's funny, 2 years ago, I was talking to him in the locker room, and I was like, man, you've caused me to be in a lot of arguments, man. I'm telling you, I've been in so many debates. And I made him laugh because I said, I've been debating about you since 2015. And he was like, yo, damn, you really are an OG. And yeah, I mean, I appreciate his game. So I mentioned Derrick Henry first because for me, offensively, it all revolves around him, right? And from there, it goes to Ryan Tannehill and his ability to work play action and connect with A.J. Brown, who's one of the best yards after catch receivers. I think that's really where it starts. Obviously, you have to pay your respect to the guys in the trenches. The right tackle position is going to be interesting because they released Dennis Kelly. They drafted Isaiah Wilson last year. Obviously, that didn't work out, but they were able to get a pretty solid player in Dylan Radin, who I think is eventually going to take over that right tackle spot. In the meantime, Tyson Braylow and Kendall Lamb, two guys who are traditionally reserves, they'll man that right tackle spot. It is something to pay attention. I don't know why they released Dennis Kelly, honestly. I thought that he was a guy that was a perfect placeholder for whoever was going to take it over next. But they didn't have to do it, for a bit. So I think their draft was solid. There's a big, huge if, right? Caleb Farley, that's a bad man when he's healthy. But my thing is, after you have an L5, L4, and S1 injury, and you're dealing with that sciatic nerve and whether or not that's going to, allow you to still have that quick twitch, that's something to be concerned about. But if he's healthy, then they got a bargain, right? Yeah. They bought an Aston Martin at Mercedes-Benz price. So that's a really good deal for them if that works out. The pick I like the most really is actually Elijah Molden, who they got at pick 100. I think he's a corner, a safety. He's a DB, actually. That's how I explain what he does. He's a lot similar to Budda Baker. So, yeah, man, I like their draft. Rashad Weaver, this situation, right? Anytime there's an accusation of anything domestic, anything, hitting a woman is not to be taken lightly, and right. You see so many people rush to judgment and want to cancel him. I think you need to slow down. But then at the same time, you see so many people saying this woman this young lady is doing some type of money grab. You got to slow down on that too. I think really the mature thing, the grown way to go about this is look at the facts, right? Present the details, and then wait for more of them to come out. You got to allow the story to be flushed out, and that's still the process. But right now, that draft pick may not be a good one. If it wasn't for that, that would have been a solid fourth-round pick. So I want to see what happens there. Des Fitzpatrick, I think, was a really good pick for them. Value there, the receiver out of Louisville. I think he's going to contribute immediately. Not too crazy about the picks. Third-round pick, 92 with Monty Rice. I think you could have got him a little bit later. And the Brady Breeze one and Racey McMath, these are sixth-round picks. They're special teams guys primarily. So if they could come in and be core special teamers, I think they made solid picks, but I think there were better players available to them. So we'll see what happens, man. The offense, I think, is going to be the question mark. Ironically, and this is a team that's coming off of averaging 30 points per game, right? And a team that was one of the highest grossing offenses and everything as far as yards are concerned, touchdowns. But Arthur Smith is gone, Corey Davis is gone, Jalen Smith's gone. So they have to figure out how to get that production. Adam Humphries is gone as well. So tight end, slot receiver, those are some areas for improvement. Then defensively, I think they look really good, though. I like the Bud Dupree acquisition. I just don't know that he's going to be a big-time help immediately because he just tore his ACL in December.
Right.
But Jack Rabbit Jenkins, drafting Farley, as we mentioned. Then Christian Fulton is an up-and-coming player. Kevin Byard is still, one of the top safeties in the game. I wouldn't call him top 5 right now, but I still think he's top 10. And then you have, Jayon Brown. You got Jeffrey Simmons. They have a lot of really good players. It's just a matter of making it all come together. They got Jim Schwartz to help out too. So I guess we'll see how it works.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see it because this team probably in this division, besides, I would say they're probably the most interesting team. Only, yes, with all the Deshaun Watson stuff going on with the Texans, but like you said, they lost a lot of core pieces. Losing Smith and Corey Davis. Corey Davis was really starting to come along. I was very huge on Corey Davis when he was coming out, and I said, man, he's going to be good. At least I had that vibe, and he started to pick it up last year, and I'm like, but you can't blame the man for going to go get the money. You cannot be upset with him from that. But I like Mike Vrabel as a coach. I think he's going to figure it out.
Yeah, they're going to have to figure it out because this team they can't regress. 11-5, you can't go back to 9-7, right? And I think people will be on the hot seat if they do. So they have to move it forward. Josh Reynolds, I think, was a low key acquisition that should help offensively, but really, it just boils down to they still got to figure kicker out. There's a lot of question marks on that roster. But fortunately for them, they're in the AFC South where the Jaguars are the Jaguars, right? And
Right.
the Texans have that mess, but the Colts, they got Carson Wentz. We'll see how that works. I think, those two teams, the Colts and Titans, that's where it comes down to in the division.
Yeah, I mean, I got to agree with that on that because, I mean, if anybody would surprise anybody, it would probably be Jacksonville. I know that sounds crazy, but I think Jacksonville will probably be the one that surprised them, depending on they've had, made some nice pieces, pick those nice pieces they've picked up in the last couple of months. They're going to have a nice little backfield with Hyde and Etienne, and then you got Robinson, who nobody, even though Robinson had a great year, had 1,000 yards last year, he's not getting the love. And I'm like, if you give those three guys together, they will have something going there. And they've got a nice little young receiving core. They still got some things they can do with that. DJ Chark has been nice. So we will see if the AFC South and what they can pull out. Yeah,
we'll see, man.
All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for my favorite segment of the show. It is time for Are y'all ready for the Turron Davenport version of Quick Ones, ladies and gentlemen? Are you ready, Turron? Are you ready for Quick Ones?
You stay ready so you never have to get ready, man.
My man. All right, here we go. We'll start it off with this one. Give me your favorite sports moment.
Favorite sports moment. Jesse Orozco, swinging a miss, struck him out. The Mets win. 1986, man, winning the World Series. That was my favorite sports moment. I love that. A close second, because I got to see it live, was Vernon Davis catching that touchdown against the Saints in the divisional playoff game, being there and feeling the energy. And I might as well keep going, because another one, Patrick Robinson picking off Case Keenum, and just the energy in that. I remember Lincoln Financial Field, that press box was literally going like this, because the people in there were going so good. Not in the press box, the fans. So 3 moments. Yes, for one, I gave you 3. Sorry.
Hey, we'll take all of them. We'll take all of them here. Well, we talk about favorite. Let's go to your worst. What is your worst sports moment?
Man, that's a tough one. No, it's not.
It hit you. It hit you quick.
It hit me. It hit me. Division, National League Championship Series. I told you baseball was my first love.
Right.
National League Championship Series. The Mets are down. I think it was by 2. It's a 3-2 count, 2 outs. Adam Wainwright is on the mound. Carlos Beltran is batting, and he took a called third strike. I can't even speak to that.
It doesn't go away.
Get the bat off your back, off your shoulder, man.
It doesn't go away.
2 outs. You gotta swing anything close. Foul it off. You don't take a strike.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. I think I remember that series too. Oh man. I mean, the Mets have had some decent teams here and there the last. Maybe like every couple of years they have a team that like kind of surprise you. They went to the World Series a couple of years back, maybe like 4 or 5 years back.
3 years back.
Yeah, they've been to the World Series. So like they've the last couple of years you talk about their pitching staff. All you hear is about how young and talented that pitching staff is. It just seems to never kind of get together. But this year, that division, that thing is wide open.
Yeah, but the $300 million man has to get it together.
Yes,
I need gotta get it together.
Yeah,
I'm a Lindor fan. My favorite player on the Mets is Donald Smith, though, and not because of what he's doing on the field, off the field. He's from Compton. He went to Crenshaw High, same high school as Darrell Strawberry, and he's doing a lot to. He established a baseball academy out there to get
that's awesome.
to get guys to younger black men to be invested in baseball and play baseball. So shout out to Dominic Smith for that one.
Yeah, shout out to Dominic Smith. I love that. I mean, unfortunately, African Americans don't play the game as much as like when I was growing up, it was a lot more in the game. And now, it's more of I would say more of a Latino, I won't say fan base, but a Latino demographic in Major League Baseball now. So, I mean, and that's nothing wrong with that, but it would be nice to see a couple of more African Americans, make that leap, so we'll definitely see on that.
Let me correct myself. He's not from Compton. He's from LA, excuse me.
LA.
So,
Okay, gotcha. But I mean, still, nevertheless, I mean, that's a big deal. Big deal.
Yeah.
Next one. Your favorite athlete of all time?
Darrell Strawberry, man. Darrell Strawberry has to be my favorite athlete of all time. I met him a few times. I met him 3 times, man, and it was great.
Awesome. Now, let me give this one for you. The athlete that every time you see him, you say, ooh, or in your past when you were younger, you saw him like, man, this dude is always ruining stuff for me. Who is that guy? Who's that guy that you kind of despise when you were growing up? Maybe not hate him, but just despise a little bit.
Vince Coleman.
Oh,
yeah, Vince Coleman used to always he kill the Mets, man. He'll bunt, get on base, steal second, steal third, and Willie McGee would or Andy Van Slyke would slap single and they scored. And then he signed with the Mets, and I tried to like him. And you had the tarp incident where he broke his leg and it just never went right.
Man, that's crazy. It's kind of like Adrian Beltre for me. He was killing it for everybody else. Came to Seattle, took all our money, and did nothing. I was like, bruh. Then he left. I want to either say LA or Boston, won the World Series, and then he went to Boston, won the World Series, then went to LA and went back to the World Series. I said, you know what? Nope. Yeah. I'm not. He was one that always kind of bothered me. Now, 2 random ones here to finish off, quick ones. First one, drums or flats?
Oh, I like the flats, man. I like the flats. I rip them apart, and I like the flats. The drums are easier to eat, but give me the flats.
I'm a flats guy. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's something about it. I mean, I like either or, but I got to agree with you, brother. It's all about the flats. Some people are going to be mad at us for this, but that's all right as well. Last one, top 3 cereals. What's your top 3 cereals?
I don't really eat cereals anymore.
What?
No, I don't, man. I try to stay away from dairy, but let's see.
If we could go.
I used to like Cookie Crisp.
Cookie Crisp, okay.
Regular Frosted Flakes.
OG.
And I like Fruity Pebbles too when I was younger. But you never got the Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, right? It was only that store brand. You know what I'm saying?
But you didn't need it. And now you got the off-brand one. They had more sugar in there than the Kellogg's one. Boy,
that's right. That's a different conversation. They like to feed us that stuff. That's a different conversation we can have, a more in-depth one. But yeah,
exactly.
You're right.
All right. That was the Turron Davenport edition of Quick Ones here on One-on-Ones. And before we get off of here, first, I want to say thank you, Turron, for coming on and gracing us with your presence here on One-on-Ones. And before we go, I need to know your legacy. What type of legacy do you want to leave in the sports journalism world? And if you have any special projects going on right now, man, let us know.
Yeah, legacy-wise, I want journalists to understand it's okay to be yourself. And it's okay to loosen up. It's okay to crack a joke. We're not trying to cure cancer or anything like that. Have fun with it. And I think more of us need to do that. So that would be my legacy. They'd be like, that dude loved what he did, never had a problem working hard, and dang, he had fun.
I love it, brother. No special projects going on right now?
Just continuing to work through the draft series. I got a Caleb Farley post coming. It'll probably be up next week. ESPN.com, man. Just keep pumping out this Titan stuff there.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful Turron Davenport. Thank you, brother, for coming on here on episode 39 on One-on-Ones here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network. I appreciate you, brother. Keep knocking out the park, man. And just know that just listening to your story today has given me that extra little boost, brother.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me, Darrell.
All right, everybody. I'm Darrell Owens of the Legacy Maker Sports Network. This has been
One. Welcome to the 101. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth, then I give them the scoop. If anybody got a question, I give them the proof. Welcome to the 101. When it comes to ratings, man, we number one. I get the truth.